Yes, Kyle Rittenhouse has been bailed and released from custody on $2 million bond. That's the legal system. He's not regarded as a flight risk. This would never have occurred. There would never even be an opportunity to post bail if Kyle wasn't who he is, and if this wasn't such a cultural flashpoint. It's an aspect of the culture war. So, if you advocate for murder in the chat, you get clapped. It's that simple. Sorry, guys. Don't advocate for murder in the chat. It's silly as fuck. You can get clapped from the entire platform, too. But in any case, it's not that bad on Twitch if you care about tech in the slightest. Can you explain bail bond for us international frogs? You can just pay to get out of jail. There is a system in America called cash bail, where if you are not deemed a flight risk, depending on what your crime is, you can wait your trial. You await your trial, not in prison if you can pay for it, and depending on how horrible your crime is, the number can go up, or depending on the color of your skin, of course, which is a really easy way to not get any fucking bail. Automatic non-flight risk if you have a lot of wealth, with obviously notable exceptions. With obvious notable exceptions like Harvey Weinstein and stuff, but Finland doesn't sound so ridiculous to chuds now, does it? Being a beginner Twitch viewer is like learning MTG, which I do not envy. How is murder an exception to get that? What the fuck? It doesn't matter. If you are not deemed a flight risk, and if you fucking did a double homicide, but the case is around whether it's a fucking self-defense or not, then yeah, you can get bail. Jail and prison are different things. Jail is just prison triage, kind of. Only white people can get bail? What the fuck? No, I'm exaggerating. Obviously, that's not the case. But the likelihood that you are considered a flight risk is a lot higher if you're black. Also, the likelihood that you can't pay the bail that's set for you is unfortunately higher when you are black. Even if you are literally arrested for a bullshit charge that you never even committed, and you can go to jail for indefinitely, even for an extended period of time, because you can't pay your bail. And then when you finally get out of it, jail, you might be so distraught and so depressed that you might, trigger warning, but you might kill yourself, like Khalif Browder did. There are exceptions to this, of course. Yeah, Khalif Browder was 19 when he was alleged to have stolen a backpack, which he didn't steal, and he was awaiting trial. I'll tell you this much: 80% of the prisoners that have died on U.S. soil, 80% of them that died on U.S. soil had not been convicted of a crime yet. They were in jail. He was 16 and he spent time in county until 19. Oh, okay. I'm fucking up the... 80% of the prisoners that died of coronavirus, had not been convicted. So they were functionally innocent because they had not been proved guilty under a court of law. In Texas, sorry, 80% of prisoners in the state of Texas. I thought that was in the state of Texas. In one county? Okay, I'm fucking up. Hold on, I gotta give you the actual numbers. Oh, my brain is not processing everything. Oh, it's in one Texas county. Sorry. 80% of those who died of COVID-19 in Texas county jails were never convicted of a crime. The devastating human toll of COVID-19 in Texas correctional facilities is revealed as a new report by the University of Texas Austin researchers. Over 230 people have died from COVID-19 in Texas correctional facilities and in county jails. Nearly 80% of them were in pre-trial detention and hadn't been convicted of a crime. Cash bail is basically a system in which even if you're not fucking guilty, I mean, you're in those circumstances, you're literally not guilty yet, okay? And you're still, and your freedom is still taken away from you exclusively because you can't pay for that freedom. That's it. Exclusively because you can't pay for that freedom. Now, the counter to this, of course, is the fact that I fear that judges are going to have a lot more discretion to just say black people are flight risks and that they're less likely to show up to court, and that these racist ass fucking judges, if we are to eliminate cash bail in its entirety, which is still better and less barbaric overall, I still think that judges are still going to fucking overwhelmingly decide to consider black people as flight risks and therefore offer them no freedom. People being racist is not a reason to remove judge decision making. The solution is to get non-racist judges. I agree. It's still better. It's still better overall to remove cash bail in its entirety. I'm just giving you one way that I think. I'm just giving you one way that I think this will still find a way to yield racist outcomes that disproportionately affect black and brown people in the criminal justice system. So don't automatically assume that the removal of cash bail will be the end all be all. It will make it easier. I was in county with a black dude who got hemmed up for his brother's drug dealing. He was a top honors and Temple PhD program, got booted from school over drug charges. He was very depressed about it and was a great guy. Fucking shame, wasted potential. Yeah. Evet. There's no way to screen racism in people in a fundamental way, therefore making it legally mandated is a lot better. I think you can look at targets. You can like set targets maybe, or like set benchmarks just to trigger control. You know what I mean? If a certain percentage of black people suspiciously keep getting fucking, I don't know. I'm just coming up with some shit on the fly, so it doesn't matter. Like it's just hard for me to. If a judge is just like, you have to have a technocratic solution to something like this. You can't just be like, we should fire racist judges. Like, okay, but then how do you figure out who's a racist judge? And the answer to that is you have to put up a metric. What percentage of, black people versus people of other races get the consideration of freedom until their court date? You know what I mean? There's actually some judge training programs that keep track of bail and sentencing statistics so that judges learn from their own biases. They can then adjust correctly. Yeah. What is the argument for having for-profit prisons? No, it's disgusting. There is no argument. It's inhumane as fuck. What's the alternative? No, you eliminate cash bail and you only imprison people on the basis of their likelihood to cause further trouble for others, or on the basis of whether they're a flight risk or not. That's it. That's what it should be. You shouldn't be fucking throwing someone in jail for a stolen backpack or a fucking dime bag and like having them wait in jail for even up to a fucking year before their trial. That's psychotic. It's completely preposterous, completely insane, but bail bonds is a business. It's not that fucking rich of a business, but still. Fuck bail bonds. Fuck it. Delete it in its entirety. Fuck that business. Yeah, I mean, people sold slaves. That was a business. Not making a moral equivalence between bail bondsmen and slavery, by the way, for those of you who are getting, who are going to get aggro with me or some shit. But my point is that, you know, some businesses are destined to fail when we develop a better understanding of humanity, when we evolve. Is it too late to fight your parents on politique? My dad thinks there's a 97% chance of not getting COVID based on third grade math. Oh, God. DSA opposed eliminating cash bail for some of the reasons that I mentioned. Because it was, the California's referendum to eliminate cash bail, in Proposition 25 is what you're talking about. Prop 25. What you're talking about was to uphold or eliminate Senate Bill 10, SB 10, which would eliminate cash bail in California or keep the current system. Although the elimination of cash bail is appealing, the law required judges to use problematic risk assessment tools to guide pretrial detention decisions. Some criminal justice advocates argue that SB 10 gives judges nearly unfettered discretion to detain individual pretrial and will exacerbate racial inequalities. Like literally what I just explained to you. It was a controversial one, but it's basically what I just explained to you. Khalif Browder spent 3 years in prison awaiting trial for a stolen backpack. 2 of those years was in solitary confinement. He hung himself 2 years after his release. Yeah. Okay.